Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't seen the previous videos yet, be sure to check them out. They cover more AWS Cloud Practitioner quiz questions that will help you get fully prepared. In today's video, we'll go through a new set of 25 practice questions designed to test your knowledge and boost your confidence for the exam. So, let's get started. A business wants to manage multiple AWS accounts under one umbrella so it can control service access and combine billing into one payment. Which AWS service provides this? Correct answer: AWS Organizations. Explanation: AWS Organizations lets you centrally manage accounts, apply policies to control access, and consolidate billing for all linked accounts. Why others are incorrect? AWS Cognito handles authentication for users in applications, not account management. AWS IAM manages permissions inside a single account, not across multiple accounts. AWS Billing and Cost Management only provides billing info for a single account, no multi-account governance. Before launching EC2 instances, a solutions architect needs a cost estimate to get approval. Which AWS tool should they use? Correct answer: AWS Pricing Calculator. Explanation: the AWS Pricing Calculator lets you model your resource usage and estimate monthly costs before you provision resources. Why others are incorrect? AWS budgets tracks and alerts on actual spending, not for estimating. AWS Cost and Usage report detailed billing after usage, not beforehand. Cost Explorer analyzes past costs, not forecasts before deployment. Which AWS service is always free to use for customers? Correct answer: AWS IAM. Explanation: AWS IAM is always free. You pay only for the AWS services you access using IAM users' roles. Why others are incorrect? Amazon EC2 paid compute service, except for free tier trials. Amazon S3 paid storage service, except limited free tier. Amazon Aurora paid relational database service. A company's support team is overwhelmed with calls due to a sudden app popularity surge. They need a cloud contact center service. Which AWS service should they choose? Correct answer: Amazon Connect. Explanation: Amazon Connect is a scalable cloud-based contact center for managing customer calls and chat. Why others are incorrect? Amazon Direct Connect dedicated network connection, not call handling. AWS Trusted Advisor optimization guidance, not customer service. Amazon CloudFront content delivery, not contact center. What AWS architecture concept refers to scaling resources up or down automatically based on demand? Correct answer: elasticity. Explanation: elasticity is the ability to dynamically scale resources up-down as needed, reducing waste. Why others are incorrect? High availability focuses on uptime, not scaling. Decoupled architecture focuses on loose coupling, not scaling. Resilience ability to recover from failures, not resource scaling. Which AWS service tracks changes to resource configurations over time? Correct answer: AWS config. Explanation. AWS config continuously monitors and records configuration changes of AWS resources. Why others are incorrect. Amazon CloudWatch monitors metrics and logs, not configurations. AWS CloudTrail records API activity, not detailed config history. Amazon Inspector security vulnerability scanning, not config tracking. A business wants to send one-time passwords via text messages for MFA to customers worldwide. Which AWS service should be used? Correct answer. Amazon SNS. Explanation. Amazon Simple Notification Service can send SMS messages globally for OTP distribution. Why others are incorrect. AWS IAM manages users' roles, but doesn't send SMS. Amazon Connect Voice Chat Contact Center, not OTP SMS. Amazon EventBridge event routing, not SMS sending. Which AWS service lets you centrally manage costs for multiple AWS accounts? Correct answer. AWS Organizations. Explanation. AWS Organizations consolidates billing and provides cost management across multiple linked accounts. Why others are incorrect. Amazon Connect Contact Center Service, not cost management. AWS Direct Connect Network Connection, not cost management. AWS Trusted Advisor gives cost optimization tips, but doesn't consolidate accounts. Where can an AWS customer download PCI DSS compliance reports for auditing purposes? Correct answer. AWS Artifact. Explanation. AWS Artifact provides access to AWS compliance documentation, including PCI DSS report. Why others are incorrect. AWS Support Center handles support tickets, not compliance documents. AWS Trusted Advisor Optimization Tool, not compliance repository. AWS Organizations manages accounts, not compliance report. Which AWS service acts as a global content delivery network to deliver websites, videos, and APIs with low latency. Correct answer. Amazon CloudFront. Explanation. Amazon CloudFront is a CDN that caches and delivers content globally with low latency. Why others are incorrect. Amazon Elastic Transcoder converts media formats, not CDN. Elastic Load Balancing distributes traffic within a region, not globally cached delivery. Amazon S3 Object Storage, not global distribution. A company wants to improve application availability for users worldwide by deploying its workloads in multiple AWS regions. Which AWS cloud benefit does this demonstrate? Correct answer. Global reach. Explanation. Deploying workloads across AWS regions ensures customers around the world have low latency access and higher availability. This is called global reach. Why others are incorrect. Economies of scale refers to AWS buying power to lower costs, not global availability. Capacity forecasting refers to predicting infrastructure needs, not regional expansion. Pay-as-you-go pricing refers to flexible billing, not geographic availability. A company runs fault-tolerant workloads on EC2 with periodic checkpoints. Which pricing option offers the biggest cost savings for this scenario? Correct answer. Spot instances. Explanation. Spot instances are ideal for fault-tolerant, flexible workloads because they can be interrupted but offer up to 90% savings compared to on-demand pricing. Why others are incorrect. Amazon Light Sale, a simpler service for small apps, not best for cost savings on existing EC2 workload. Dedicated hosts, used for license compliance, not cost reduction. Capacity reservations ensures capacity, but not the cheapest option. A company wants to stop manually managing its Docker environment and prefers AWS to handle scaling, scheduling, and maintenance. Which service is best? Correct answer, AWS Fargate. Explanation. AWS Fargate runs containers without provisioning or managing servers, handling scaling and maintenance automatically. Why others are incorrect. Amazon Athena, for querying data in S3, not containers. AWS Lambda, for serverless code execution, not Docker container orchestration. Amazon RDS, manages relational databases, not container workloads. Which AWS service provides a low-code, visual workflow builder for orchestrating distributed applications? Correct answer. AWS Step Functions. Explanation. AWS Step Functions visually design and coordinate workflows for distributed applications and microservices. Why others are incorrect. AWS Lambda runs code without servers, but doesn't visually orchestrate workflows. AWS Config tracks configuration changes, not workflows. Amazon CloudWatch, for monitoring and logging, not workflow orchestration. Which service can detect a web server outage and route users to alternate healthy endpoints? Correct answer. Amazon Route 53. Explanation. Route 53 provides DNS routing with health checks, allowing redirection to healthy resources. Why others are incorrect. AWS Trusted Advisor gives best practice recommendations, not failover routing. Amazon Guard Duty Threat Detection, not DNS routing. Amazon CloudFront, a CDN, but not a failover mechanism. A company wants to assign permissions to a group of users at once. Which AWS service should they use? Correct answer. AWS IAM. Explanation. AWS IAM lets you create groups and assign permissions to all users in the group. Why others are incorrect. AWS Security Hub Security Management, not Identity Access Control. Security Group controls network traffic, not user permissions. AWS Resource Groups organizes AWS resources, not users. Which well-architected framework pillar focuses on a system's ability to recover from failures automatically? Correct answer. Reliability. Explanation. The reliability pillar ensures workloads recover from infrastructure or service disruptions. Why others are incorrect. Operational excellence focuses on process improvement, not recovery. Performance efficiency optimizing performance, not resiliency. Cost optimization, minimizing costs, not fault tolerance. A company wants 24/7 technical support, AWS Health API access, and architectural guidance at the lowest cost without concierge support. Which AWS support plan fits? Correct answer. AWS Business Support. Explanation. AWS Business Support provides 24/7 engineer access, AWS Health API, and architectural guidance for production workloads without enterprise-level concierge. Why others are incorrect. Developer support, only business hours access. Basic support, no technical support from engineers. Enterprise support includes concierge, but costs more. Which AWS service continuously monitors accounts for potential security threats? Correct answer. Amazon Guard Duty. Explanation. Amazon Guard Duty uses threat intelligence and ML to detect suspicious activity in AWS accounts. Why others are incorrect. AWS Certificate Manager manages SSL/TLS certificates, not threat detection. AWS Secrets Manager stores secrets, not monitors for threats. Amazon Cognito manages authentication, not threat detection. A company wants to block SQL injection attacks on its web app behind an application load balancer. Which service should it use? Correct answer. AWS WEF. Explanation. AWS Web Application Firewall allows custom rules to block threats like SQL injection. Why others are incorrect. AWS Shield protects from DDoS attacks, not SQL injection. Security groups control network ports, not application layer attack. Network ACLs operate at subnet level, not web application filtering. Which AWS tool can estimate the cost of running new infrastructure before deployment? Correct answer. AWS Pricing Calculator. Explanation. AWS Pricing Calculator gives upfront cost estimates for planned workload. Why others are incorrect. Cost Explorer analyzes past spending, not future estimate. Trusted Advisor provides best practices, not cost estimate. Cost and Usage Report gives detailed historical billing data. Cargo ships with intermittent internet need to process and store sensor data locally, then send it to AWS later. Which service should they use? Correct answer. AWS Snowball Edge. Explanation. Snowball Edge can collect, store, and process data offline, then upload it later when connected. Why others are incorrect. AWS IoT Core requires continuous connectivity. Amazon Lightsail hosting service, not data transport. Storage Gateway connects on-premises to AWS storage, but needs steady internet. A company needs a system that automatically recovers from failures. Which well-architected framework pillar covers this? Correct answer. Reliability. Explanation. Reliability ensures workloads can recover from disruptions automatically. Why others are incorrect. Performance efficiency, about optimal resource use, not recovery. Operational excellence, about continuous improvement. Cost optimization, about cost savings, not fault tolerance. Which AWS service allows deployment of infrastructure using code template? Correct answer. AWS CloudFormation. Explanation. CloudFormation uses templates to automate provisioning of AWS resources as code. Why others are incorrect. AWS Systems Manager manages resources, but not infrastructure provisioning. AWS Config tracks resource configurations, not deploys them. AWS Code Commit source control for code, not infrastructure. A company wants to run an application in a Docker container without managing container hosts. Which AWS service should it choose? Correct answer, AWS Fargate. Explanation: AWS Fargate runs containers serverlessly, removing the need to manage hosts. Why others are incorrect. Amazon ECS orchestrates containers but requires managing instances unless used with Fargate. Amazon EC2 requires manual host management. Amazon FSx file storage service, unrelated to containers.